Hey everybody, my name is Holly Lamb and welcome to Lamb Living. Today I am putting together a tiered tray for Easter. And I started off in our Goodwill. This is the regular side. And I found this cute little kind of Lazy Susan slash tiered tray. It was a nice piece, but I didn't really care for the distressing. It was in strange places. This kind of distressing just doesn't appeal to me at all. It was only $4. There's little Toby over there looking on. So I picked it up. It was in good shape. I'm going to give it 3 coats of the Waverly chalk paint in plaster, which is a white, but it's a little bit of an off-white. I use it a lot. It matches a lot of things in my house, so it's kind of my staple that I keep around and use the most. Usually when I do, I paint something with chalk paint, I do 3 coats because then if I distress back, 3 coats is going to be a great coverage because chalk paint gives great coverage. And then if I distress back, and I'm putting a little bit of white on top because I just wanted to brighten it up a little bit. That's what I'm showing you here. The distressing just, I think looks, I guess more natural. I'm going to just be sanding off a little bit of any kind of the edges and the corners. Of course, this is round, so I'm just going to get anything where normal wear would happen. On the flat surfaces there on the top, I just didn't care for how that was distressed. I didn't think it looked natural. I thought it looked like the manufactured distressing. They just take a big sander and go over it with an orbital or something. I don't know what happens, but anyway, this is the distressing I like. So I just did it, and then you can see anything raised, I took off down to the wood, and this was a wood piece. It might have even been something handmade. It has a hole in the center, like that square part of the riser is a vase. And so I thought about putting flowers in it for this tiered tray, but I'm going to reserve that option for another tiered tray, and we're going to do something else on top. But after I got it distressed the way I wanted it, I just took it outside to my spray paint table, this poor table. It's been through the mill, but it still does a good job as out in my backyard. And I use my favorite Rust-Oleum Matte Clear and sprayed it, so it's all set to go. Now, this little guy I got for $1. Gosh, I don't even know when I got it. I've had it in my craft closet downstairs in the piano room for quite a while. Now, I'm going to be using Annie Sloan's white wax, and this is a true white wax. I always like to put gloves on because I don't like to get the wax all over my hands. And I'm going to use one of the chippy brushes from the Dollar Tree, and I am going to load this up. Every nook and cranny and crevice I'm going to get that white wax into. And there you can see I'm just covering it up. I love the colors. I thought the little bunnies on there and the carrot patch and everything, the teapot was darling. But it was all just a little bit too bright and stark, says the lady who's wearing a bright green and pink dress. But I wanted to, mute it back quite a bit to go along with my little theme of my little tiered tray. And so I thought, I thought about painting it all and then maybe distressing back. I could have done that. But I thought, with all the detail, that little carrot patch and the two cute little bunnies on there, I thought, no, let's just white wax it and see where we go. So using that Annie Sloan white wax, the DIY white wax is very similar to this Annie Sloan. But last time I was down at Cottle and Gun in St. Mary's, that's what I picked up. She carries the Annie Sloan. So I picked this up. Love it. Love it. And so there's the first coat of the white wax. And I took a little detail brush, and I'm just trying to get anything that's too chunky down in the cracks and crevices. And there were some holes there in the little windows. So I didn't want the white wax to kind of gather in that too much. So I'm just kind of wiping it back. And then I'm going to let this dry overnight, because if I try to put on another coat right now, it's just going to wipe back off and not get the effect I want. Okay, so here's coat number 1. Looking very nice, looking much more subtle and very cute. But I wanted it even more subtle. Now you can see I'm just using a little plastic knife and I'm pulling it out and putting it on my parchment paper on my workstation because I don't want to any of the paint or anything on this little teapot. I don't want to get back in that nice big container of white wax lest it, get some kind of, something dirty or anything in there. I want my white wax to stay white. And I don't want it to get any kind of bacteria in there. So I'm just going to always work from my parchment. And then this is just a paper towel. It's a dry paper towel, not a wet wipe. And here we go. There is coat 2. And that's about where I was wanting it. I could have maybe gone a third coat on some of those darker places, but I like the orange carrots popping out and those cute little Easter eggs. I tried to even stipple a little bit of the white wax on the smooth surfaces of the teapot, so it almost looked like, a stucco kind of effect. I love how it looks in that little wood up there at the top, at the lid. And look at the little bunnies in their little teapot house. So sweet. All right, now this is Dollar General, and Dollar General is knocking it out of the park on dollar items for crafting. I mean, look at all this with the picks, the little wood stickers and wood, craft projects. Look at the chicks up there and those bunnies. Goodness. And, of course, those are $3, but those are the flannel backs. Those are really nice, beautiful tablecloths. Now, these little stone eggs caught my eye. They're heavy, and they all say Happy Easter. They have this similar design, but every egg is a different floral pattern. So those were catching my eye. And then, of course, those eggs were also catching my eye. We're going to see some chalk eggs in a minute, but I don't get them at Dollar General. I get them someplace else, and we'll talk about that in a minute. But there we go. There's my $3 worth of stone eggs. They each have Happy Easter on them, written in black. But the pink one had some extra ink kind of randomly put. And so I was sanding that off, and it sanded off pretty easy. And a little bit of the pink paint came off, and it was, of course, a stone gray underneath, like a concrete. And I really liked the way that looked. I liked the pink and gray. Takes me back to the 80s when my room had a lot of pink and gray in it. Then, of course, heaven was smiling on me right then. I pulled that off without any heat or any kind of goo gone or anything. Those stickers came off beautifully. All right, so there they are with just a little bit of sanding, bringing out taking off a little bit of the paint. And then we're going to be white waxing these, but not with the Annie Sloan white wax. I'm going to be using the Waverly white wax, which is actually an ivory cast. And so this, of course, any kind of Waverly products I get at Walmart. Some crafters here on YouTube say they're having a hard time finding it at Walmart, but I'm not. My Walmart, and it's not a huge one here in Brunswick. It gets the job done, and it certainly has Waverly products, so I'm not complaining. But this has an ivory cast, almost like that plaster chalk paint that I like to decorate with. So I love the way this looked. And you'll see in the comparison when I show you these eggs on the tiered tray with the little teapot and the white wax, the difference. Honestly, it's not a big difference once you pull back off the wax to show the detail. It all just kind of sits down in the crevices just like that white wax did on that darling little teapot. And it just looks oxidized and soft and pastel-y Easter goodness. I just love it. I just love how it looks. So there we go. I'm just bringing back the flowers, leaving all the that ivory color down in the crevices. And there we go. Just as easy as pie. This was a quick fix. It took a while to wipe back on the teapot because there was so much detail. But this one was just a quick, easy way to fix these eggs to make them look just a little bit more in my style. Now the green one wanted to kind of lean forward. It looks like it's straight up and down at this angle, but it wanted to tip forward when it was on my little Lazy Susan tier tray. The blue and the pink were solid. They wanted to stand up nice. But that green one, I'm going to use in another way here in a minute. I did not put it on the tier tray. One, because the tier tray is small. And so having 3 on there just kind of overtook it. So we're just going to put those 2 for now. All right, now look at these little cuties. Another trip to Dollar General. Again, look. Oh my goodness. I was sold when I saw that little cutie. And then when I saw the blue one here, okay, you're coming home with me. So I went ahead and bought 2 little chicks. I wanted to do it at least once because I am going to be gluing the legs to where they don't go back and forth anymore. Because I'm going to be covering this up. Now look away if you're squeamish. I am going to take his little beak off for a minute. I thought maybe I could just pull it out. But I figured I better take it out to paint it. And I'm going to be using these flatback pearls from the Dollar General for his eyes. And we're going to be painting all those gold in just a minute. But I got these stems at the Dollar Tree. And now they had, when I pulled them off of their stem, the flowers, it was a little bit long to go on to my chick. I'm going to make a little floral chick here, and it's going to be so sweet. But it was too long, the little stem part of the flower. Now, this particular pick from the Dollar Tree didn't fall apart when I cut it back to the petals. Some of them do. So just be real careful if you're choosing. I don't know if it's because these were really small or if it was just this particular kind. And I've had these for a while, so I don't even know what they called them. But I did buy them pretty recently. So they've had them recent in different colors. But this one's kind of a bluish green. I thought it was really pretty for winter. So we're just going to give it a little spring flair by putting it on this darling little chick. All right, so I put a nice mohawk on him, but that's not. We're gonna finish him in a minute. But I thought I'd better use some gold paint and paint his little legs there, so I wouldn't get it on my little petals of my flower, while I still can. Now this Creology paint by the Dollar Tree it has a zillion colors these days. I don't know if you've noticed in the Crafter Square. But it's really good acrylic paint, but it's going to take a lot of coverage. So out came the Rub and Buff, and I decided to see what the difference would be if I painted the pink chick's beak and feet with the Rub and Buff, which look at the coverage on that. Just as easy as pie. And then the legs painted up just so quick. And I was going to have to go back over that gold acrylic paint a couple of times. I liked the look of it, but you could still see the plastic feet. So I just kind of almost dry brushed the Rub and Buff, which Rub and Buff is kind of a wax. And so there's the acrylic paint, and then look at the dark gold of the Rub and Buff. And so I end up giving those the blue chick's legs a little bit more Rub and Buff to, give it some nice coverage. But I did like the sparkle of the acrylic paint as well. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and just kind of finish off my chick. It ends up being kind of a puff ball of flowers, almost like just a floral ball with legs. So after I go ahead and put his beak back in with just a little bit of hot glue, and then I'm just kind of wiggle it back into the little place where it came from. And then I'm going to color my flatback pearls that I found at Dollar General last weekend. They were having the clearance event. So anything with a yellow tag or with a clearance tag was half off. So I got a bunch of flatback pearls they had them marked for 90 cents each. I got them for 45 cents. Watch out. They do that clearance event twice a year from what some of the YouTubers say that watch the Dollar General ads. They're the ones I watch out for penny shopping. And the clearance event, they say, happens every twice a year. And so they'll put everything that's on clearance, they'll do half off. And so that's a really nice sale to be watching out for. All right. So my little chick, because he was kind of front heavy with all his prettiness, it was leaning forward, and I didn't want him to tip over on my little Lazy Susan tray. So I went ahead and glued up his legs so he wouldn't be moving. His legs couldn't move anymore, so he's not going to be hopping around anymore. But we have it on tape. He did hop. He was a good hopper. All right, so there we go. Now he's going to stand up nice and sturdy. Now, I'm not going to show you the process of the pink one because it did it exactly the same way. And I used also kind of a little bit more firm and smaller flower for the pink one. But look, oh my goodness, he's a cutie pie. Goodness. I had to trim a little bit on the blue one. Some of the petals were just a little bit too fluffy. He was kind of shaped of a ball, so I made him more into the chick shape there. He's still kind of a cute puff ball. But I did trim up that blue one. The pink one didn't need trimming up. They were smaller. All right. So now we're off to, this is, this is Etsy. And I'm going to be using this little picture photo cube from the Dollar Tree. And I'm going to be creating just a little Easter box for my tier tray with some digital prints from Etsy. Now that is what pulled up when I typed in Etsy because I was on the Paper Outpost's Etsy page. All of her DigiKits right now are on half off, so I've been kind of treating myself to lots of Pam's DigiKits. I'll leave the link below. I'm not affiliated with her at all. I just enjoy her channel. She does lots of journaling and just has so many great videos. And then she has a great Etsy shop with beautiful DigiKits. And so I'm going to use several of them today on my box. But look at I think I just searched Peter Rabbit there in Etsy. And so here's some of the downloads I downloaded from the Paper Outpost on Etsy. And I look at those bunnies. So I'm just going to, get them set there. There I'm sending it to print, but I'm not ready yet. Got to fix it a little bit, fit to size, and then I had to put it into portrait mode. It defaulted to landscape, so be sure to check your settings before you hit print when you're, pulling these DigiKits up, because they will easily print out. You just have to change your settings. And then look at this one. Ugh. This is another one of Pam's DigiKits from the Paper Outpost. And so many pretty things. So many pretty things. Now I found that when I put the cube on top of the paper and use my pencil, when I cut it out inside the pencil line so the pencil line wouldn't show, it still was a hair big. So I'd rather it be a little too big and trimmed down. So that's how I cut it initially. Right inside the pencil line so you wouldn't see that pencil. And then I would set it on top, and then I'd just use my thumb and crease where I wanted it to, where I wanted it to cut. I don't want any of the plastic to show, but I also don't want it to hang over onto another picture because I'm going to have, 6 pictures on this cube. And you won't see the bottom picture unless you, turn it around, but I certainly have that option to turn it around if I want to, because I'm going to put it on all sides. And with these DigiKits being so affordable, I think most of her DigiKits are like $225 or maybe $250. And then right now they're half off in March. She's having a March Madness sale. And a lot of the Etsy providers that I like to purchase from run sales regularly. And Etsy will tell you about them too. So here's another one. That one was simply called Pink, I think. It was just pictures of pink things. And I was going to use this for my glue book to glue on top of. It just wasn't big enough. So you certainly could put your pictures onto that cube, that paper that was inside. But I just wanted to cover the whole thing up. So I took my Elmer's purple glue stick and glued it there, and then I'm taking my brayer. I got that set of 3 brayers from Amazon, and I use them all the time. I really find these brayers super useful because I want that, picture to be nice and smooth, and I have a lot of good luck with the glue stick. Now, once I get these 6 pictures on, I'm going to let this dry overnight. And as I put them on and do the brayer, you can see I'm kind of running over the edges, the sides, the smooth part of the print. But now I have a laser color printer, so I don't have to worry about any bleeding. Now this glue stick, if you get the glue stick on ink of an inkjet printer, it might bleed a little bit and kind of smudge. But, a laser printer uses toner, not ink, so I don't have to worry about that. And I'm really loving this laser printer. And so there it is. Look how cute. Now, after I let it dry overnight, I wanted that glue stick to be good and dry. I come back in and I'm just going to flip that over because it had some sticky glue stick. You couldn't see it anymore. It dried, but it's still there. So I just flipped it over to the other side. And then I'm going to make sure all those edges and corners and everything is sealed up. And at that point, I thought I was going to be finished. A matte Mod Podge, the yellow label, gives a little bit of a, it's got a little bit of a sheen. But when I came back the next day and it was completely dry and all was well, it looked great. I loved it. But it just wasn't popping for me right now. I'm just loving this triple thick. In the past, I'm usually I like a matte finish gal, but here lately, I don't know if it's been just spring or if I got just kind of glamorous and bougie over Christmas. I don't know, but I'm loving the triple thick. I used it in my last video as well. I was doing some stand-up Easter eggs, and it went over that napkin so pretty. I thought I'd try it on this decoupage paper or these digiprints, and love them. Now, what you're looking at there is 2 coats of the triple thick, and I bought my triple thick, at Hobby Lobby. But you can also get it on Amazon, and honestly, it probably is at Michael's or at Joann's. All right, but loving the triple thick. Okay, now that was Walmart, and this is Dollar Tree. That's where I got my chalks, but you also saw that Dollar General has chalk eggs right now as well. Now, do you see that seam? There's no seam on the Walmart ones, the smaller ones, like the one on the left. But the Dollar Tree eggs, even though you get 6, it's a nice buy. It's a better buy, for the most part. You're going to deal with this seam. And I love the marbling. The marbling was pretty. But I used the fine side, the real smooth side of these Amazon nail files. And I just sanded off that seam. Now, it took off some of the color, obviously. So I just tried to work it in to where it wasn't evident that I was taking off a seam. Now you're going to see on the next chalk, I think I'm going to do the blue one, that I leave in some of this pink chalk that gets into this nail file and gets it nice and smooth. No seams to be seen. Love it. And I'm going to flip it over. Oh boy, there goes the pink. Yeah. What I did was I just took a dry paper towel and I just very briskly, with a little bit of strength, got that extra chalk out of there. So I had kind of a mess on my table, but it wasn't going onto my blue chalk anymore. So that's what I ended up having to do after each chalk. Kind of clean my, nail file. But these were a great little filler. The ones from the Dollar Tree were ever so slightly bigger than the ones from Walmart for $1. But that worked out well. I liked the, the highs and lows. So here I go. I'm just kind of, randomly putting in some of the colors. Lots of great colors. And again, the Dollar General had beautiful things as well. I believe Family Dollar also has chalked eggs. They're just a real simple way to finish off a little vignette, a tablescape. They'd be super cute. You could put a little banner with a name on it for a little place setting for Easter. That would be so cute. And I just love that. Example of rebirth and newness of spring. Whoop. And tuck a little yellow one back in there. A little bit different shade. And I just love the way all these little DIYs came together. They're all just a little bit different, but they have a similar color, story. And you can see the white wax on that little teapot. Just softened it a little bit. We still have those beautiful colors. We made them a little bit more pastel. And then there's that pink stone egg. And that one had the ivory colored wax on it, the Waverly white wax. And it looks so beautiful with these little chalks. And that says Happy Easter in German. Put a few little shells just to kind of, balance out things. Always have room for a few shells. And I just love the way this looks. I'm just so tickled with it. I want to thank you so much for sticking with me through this video and watching my little Easter tiered tray. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, I hope you will. And I hope you'll come back. This is where I put the little green one on the basket where I keep my salt and pepper shakers. And look at those cute little napkins from the Dollar Tree saying Happy Spring. I got some baby's breath from Walmart last time I was there. And there's my big baby right there. That's Toby. And he's wishing you a wonderful spring. Isaiah 58:11 says, "The Lord will guide you always. He will satisfy your needs in a sun-scorched land and will be like a well-watered garden, like a spring whose waters never fail." And then the message from the New Testament is Philippians 4:7. Says, "Then the peace of God that surpasses all understanding will keep your hearts and minds safe in Christ Jesus." Thanks again for watching. God bless. And from the Blue